Hey everyone, George the Disney Italiano here with my boy OG once again at Universal Studios Hollywood for another what we call on this channel the bar chat. And OG sporting his Universal Studios shirt. And so let's get into it. I think the first topic we'll probably discuss today is we did a pregame video on Citrico Central for FanFest, kind of giving our thoughts on what we could expect, or what may be our likes, our dislikes. But after experiencing it, we thought we'd come back and share with you guys what we got right, what we got wrong. And so let's dive into it. What do you thought? What do you think?
Let's dive in. Actually, it was actually way more like I knew going into it, it was going to be impressive. I had a feeling Universal was going to go all in on this thing, right? And they did.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really too much of a shock, but I was surprised at how much they went into this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was so far beyond what I was expecting for an after-hours temporary event.
Yes.
You know, the Star Trek thing felt like a cue for a Star Tours or a Space Mountain.
Even kind of gave off a little bit of like the Cosmic Rewind cue.
It did. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the quality was there. Now, we knew the quality was going to be there, but I didn't think it was going to be as high as it was.
To that extent.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we all were kind of aiming towards like the success of Back to the Future. And
Right.
that was it. We really didn't focus on like how well the other things would be. Because, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I like Star Trek, but I'm not a Trekkie. I know of Dungeons and Dragons, but it wasn't like the IP that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Star Trek was never my thing, really. Like, I was always like more of a Star Wars guy. Because Star Wars is more space fantasy, which I was more into. I was more into that kind of like that galactic fairy tale thing. Star Trek was never my thing. My childhood buddy Dominic Yarnell. Shout out to Mr. Yarnell. I'm still homies with him, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
from like 5th grade, dude.
Well, shout out to Dominic.
Shout out to Dominic. Dominic was like 6 foot in 5th grade. It was wild.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. But he was more of a Star Trek guy, and I was always more of a Star Wars guy. But with that said, even if you don't like the Star Trek franchise, I felt like this thing is still very enjoyable.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of gets you intrigued, really, if you're not a Trekkie,
Yeah.
or if you're not into Dungeons and Dragons, especially Dungeons and Dragons. I was really impressed with that. And I do agree with you that when we went through that walkthrough, because I love how, with the short amount of an experience it makes sense.
Yeah.
The storyline is clear, it's simple, but you can follow it very easily, even if you're not a fan of the franchise. But I agree with you. The way that they had the Dungeons and Dragons set up, they could definitely utilize the Zelda IP for that.
Oh, 100%. And like we talked to our friend Theme Park Wizard, and he was kind of speculating as to like the big puppet at the end.
Yes.
Maybe they kind of repurposed some of the HHN stuff for that puppet.
Yes.
For the Mexican maze that they had.
Exactly. Yeah, because he said Universal is notorious for doing that. They love to reutilize and reskin, and that's a good thing. If you could make it work, where you can say, okay, this looks like a completely different puppet than the last.
Why not?
Then kudos. It's if you could save money but make something cost effective, go for it.
I mean, if you can, save money, but you still maintain that quality, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like they might have done that with that, and it was really, really impressive. And that's the advantage Universal has, really, with this FanFest night, is because they do have the HHN dynamic they can kind of pull from. We've talked about that a lot on Orange Grove 55, where like, they have all this experience with the mazes and what have you. Now they can take from those mazes. I wouldn't even be surprised if some of the set pieces for the the Dungeons and Dragons and the Star Trek, some of that stuff was actually borrowed from HHN. Because that one forest scene in the Dungeons and Dragons felt a little bit like the other one.
The Quiet Place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So and that's cool. Like, we're not dogging on Universal for that. That's smart. You want to do stuff like that. You want to utilize what you can. It fit both franchises, so why not utilize that, right?
Right.
It's an effective and smart way to kind of reuse stuff.
And speaking of practical sets, I love how with the Star Trek experience, they actually utilized the real actual set pieces that they used for the series.
Oh, me too.
That was really cool.
That was amazing.
And
Yeah.
and that's the beauty about Universal Hollywood is you can get away with stuff like that because everything is at their fingertips here when it comes to film production.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one advantage, like Universal Orlando, you guys have all the space compared to here, and
The cool rides.
the more traditional theme park experience, right? You have IOA, Universal Studios, Epic Universe, but out here in Hollywood, yeah, we got a weird little funky layout with the escalators and the whole thing, but we have a really cool advantage where we're in the middle of Hollywood, and literally everyone, including us, films at Universal Studios Hollywood. I mean, Disney. When you go on that tram tour, they're not shy about it.
No, they're not. They say it right out.
Over here is where we film Desperate Housewives. Over here is where we film Pirates of the Caribbean. Disney films on this lot like crazy, and you're not going to find that anywhere else.
And I love how Universal actually gives shout outs to its competitors.
Yeah.
Like they say, just, beyond the hills, you have Warner Brothers Studios, you have the Disney Studios. So it's like they say, like, they call it like the Triple Crown, so to speak.
Yes.
So the fact that they call their competitors out to say, you know what, you got all the studios kind of wrapped up in this little bubble,
right,
is phenomenal. But I always, of what you just described right now, I always refer to the California parks, primarily Disneyland and Universal Studios Hollywood, as being charming. I feel like they have the charm to them, where the Florida parks with Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando, that's more of the, as you call it, the touristy kind of like traveling like destination.
Yeah, I feel like, and I know like my Florida peeps are gonna get on me for this, but this is just how I feel. I'm gonna say how I feel. I feel like Disneyland and I feel like Universal Hollywood, they feel like more organic experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like these were places built, like, Universal was a studio, out of necessity, and then it grew into a theme park. Disneyland was like this kind of like this one man's wish sort of thing, or one man's dream sort of thing, and it felt like this really organic sort of like pet project for Walt.
Yes.
Where the Florida parks, Walt Disney World and Universal Florida, they feel more like tourist traps.
Yes.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just different.
It's different.
Yeah, like it was made for
that purpose.
Yeah, and it just feels different to me. The California parks have a specialness to them, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a Californian, and I probably am. Maybe I sound like a douchey Californian. Oh, by the way, California, 4th largest economy in the world.
Well, with me,
I was shilling for California.
Well, I guess with me moving out here now, I guess I became a douchey Californian now
You're
too.
You're a douchey Californian too. No, but in all seriousness, though, it just feels like the California parks, while they're smaller, they feel a little bit more
mighty. To be honest,
they're
with you.
mighty. Yeah, man. They pack a punch that you can't get it anywhere else. You can't get it at Disneyland anywhere else. They can build 1,000 Disneyland. You're never going to get a Disneyland that Walt Disney enjoyed for a decade.
Exactly. It has that charm because it had his fingerprints on everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the head of like how he wanted his park to be, how he wanted his park to look. So yeah, you'll never get that with any other kind of park. Now, moving to Back to the Future, our expectations for that was kind of like already out of the gate. We were already expecting high hopes with that, and man, did they deliver and then some. Because the fact of just being on the lot where they actually filmed the film, and you hear the music piping in, they have the projection mapping like of the last final scene of the movie on the clock tower, all the characters like mingling with the guests, and they're doing the storylines of your favorable moments of the film. But what I absolutely loved was they give everybody an opportune chance to experience those special moments in the movies, because whether you maybe have missed it or you didn't have a good enough spot to kind of see well, they rotate those scenes like every 25-30 minutes.
They do, and they rotate them every every 25-30 minutes. And then it's also like they're not like at Disney's after hours events. It felt like everything was like behind a velvet rope, as I call it, right?
Yes.
Where like George wanted to meet Darkwing Duck at 90s night, but he didn't know he had to wait. He had to get a wristband and wait 2 hours before the event started to meet Darkwing Duck. That's ridiculous, Disney. Absolutely ridiculous. I can meet Marty McFly down there in Hill Valley where they filmed the freaking movies, and I don't have to wait behind no velvet rope.
No.
I don't need to get no wristband.
No.
He's walking around interacting. Our buddy theme park wizard was going back and forth with Biff.
Yeah.
And Biff was talking shit to him, and he was talking shit back. It was fun, but that's what makes it fun, man. Disney. Look. I'm not here to pile on Disney.
Yeah.
I have a Disney bias like George does, but we want Disney to do better.
Yeah.
So if Disney is by any chance watching this, just take notes, because this is how you do nighttime events.
Yes.
And Disney has that IP to do it right. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Recently, Disney, I feel like, puts a paywall under a paywall,
Yeah.
so to speak. It's like you pay for the ticket for that upscale premium price, but then you're left with these obstacles that you may not be able to experience. If I don't experience something at an after hours event, that should be on me, because I say, you know what, I don't really want to do that, or we'll leave it go for right now. But the fact that you're forced to miss out on something after you pay for an after hours price ticket, to me, that's bad. That's bad showmanship.
No, it is. It absolutely is. And Universal, I think they're coming into this after hours thing kind of a newbie, but kind of not, right? Like they're not a newbie in the sense where, because they've been doing HSN for a while and they've been very successful, but they're kind of a newbie in the sense where they haven't really gone beyond that with the after hours thing. This is their first foray into that world, and they hit a home run, dude. They hit an absolute home run.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sneeze. Go ahead.
Oh,
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm allergic to Disney. Oh my god.
But speaking of which, when you said like how Universal kind of already like adapted that formula and everything, here's the thing: Disney already had it. They just choose not to use it.
Exactly, George. Exactly. They already have it. Disney has it. Universal is following Disney's model, but Disney isn't following Disney's model.
Exactly. And that's the sad, disappointing, and yet frustrating thing of it all. Because, again, Disney knows this. They're very smart. I mean, they're an over 100-year company. You know,
Right.
Whether it's studio, theme parks, all that good stuff. It's like they know how to use it. They just choose not to.
Yeah, they choose not to. And it's frustrating because Disney has the best IP on the planet, bar none. Like, they have the best IP on the planet. Second would be probably Warner Brothers. But you tap into that, Disney. You have so much potential there with that, and you squander it. You fumble the bag over and over and over again. You let Universal, which I love Universal. We're here again. I love you, Universal. I do. But I will always have a bias towards Disney. That's where my heart and soul is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I say this about Disney, I'm not saying it to crap on the Mouse House. I'm not a grifter. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying it because I want Disney to do better. I want Disney to kick some butt. I want them to do better and make better experiences because I know it's in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I will give credit to Disney for that projection show in Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
The Skywalker thing. That was beautiful. That was well done. More of that. More of that, please. You know, stuff like that. Do it.
Well, and I think it's very ironic because a lot of people, thinking, we're just on Disney's side and what have you. And we always say here on Citrico Central and also on Orange Grove 55 that we're fair to all, but we're very to the facts of critiquing. And when there's something that needs to be critiqued, whether it's Disney or Universal, we will call them out on it. Just like how many times we've called Universal out. So now we're doing the same thing with Disney.
Exactly. Here's the thing. People are tired of agenda-driven content. They're tired of it. They're tired of the shilling. They're tired of loving everything. And they're also tired of crapping on everything. No one wants to watch a video where the Mouse House does everything wrong 24/7. And no one wants to watch a video where the Mouse House does everything right 24/7.
Yeah.
People are tired of it.
It gets old.
It gets super old. And you know what channels we're talking about in either direction. And that's old. All people really want is authenticity. They want They want, hey, what's your actual opinion on this stuff? None of this,
Like
agenda.
and cookie cutter, like everything's all fine and dandy, you know.
Everything's all fine and dandy, or Disney's woke and it's going to collapse tomorrow. People don't want any of that stuff anymore. They just want people to give their honest, true opinions on what is actually happening, and we're going to give that. I mean, honestly, if Universal is doing a better job at something, we're going to say they're doing a better job. If Disney's doing a better job, we'll say it.
Yeah.
If Disney flounders, we're going to say they flounder.
Yeah.
So
Now, speaking of critiques and floundering, there was one little hiccup that we had noticed when we were at FanFest.
oh yeah,
But it still needs to go, noticed, because it is very important. We went down to Super Nintendo World because Abby wanted to see Yoshi. That was like her one like to do list to check off the box for FanFest was to see Yoshi, and how Universal operates with those high demand. Thank you. Character meet and greets is they'll let so many people fit into the line queue, and then they cut it off, and then you have to wait until they clear that group of people out, and then they bring the next group in. So by the time we got there, we just missed the cutoff. So the team member said it would be about maybe 25, 30 minutes for them to get everybody through to meet Yoshi, and then they start the next group. So we were standing there waiting because we wanted to make sure we could get our space in line, because we were told by our good friend Mondo from Five Fires. Shout out to Mondo. We were able to hang out with him for a bit, along with Mr. Theme Park Wizard at FanFest when we went. But he said that stand by the line, because once they clear it out and they open it up again, it fills up within seconds.
right.
So we wanted to make sure that we were able to get in there, so we're not wasting time just standing around when we could be enjoying the event. So we were hanging around there, and a team member comes up to us, because it wasn't just us, there was some other people waiting there too, and they said, if you kindly step away from this area, because it's for a fire code, because we have to have our team members being able to go back and forth between the front of stage to the backstage. And we completely understood. It's a compliance to
Fire code. I mean, what are you going to do, right?
So us and the group of people that were there, we all moved away, and we're just kind of standing back, and we noticed that more people were coming in and standing where we were, and it just kept on piling up with people, and I'm like, I don't understand it. We were asked to move away from there, which that's fine, but why aren't they, if that's the rule? So I approached the team member, and very nice team member, by the way. She was very nice about it. But what kind of frustrated me was the response I got when I asked her, so are we not allowed to stand there? I thought we weren't. Why are all these people standing here? And her response was, well, there's only so many times that we can tell people to move. And to me, whether you're running your own independent business, whether you're working for a major company, that is not the correct response to give.
No. Especially if it's fire code.
Yeah.
If it's fire code, it doesn't matter how much pushback you get. It's fire code.
Yeah.
You got to move these people. And to sit there and go, well, we tried 3 times. Sorry, I guess we just had to let them go. I mean, that's the wrong move. Even parenting. If your kid throws a tantrum, you don't give in. You stand your ground.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy to me that was a huge fumble on Universal's part.
Yeah.
If it's fire code and you got to follow these codes, you got to follow these rules, it has to be across the board, right? And even with our buddy Slimer and his lovely wife, like Mr. and Mrs. Slimer, they went to Helios.
Yes.
Right? Over there in Florida, and they were saying like, Slimer was wearing flip-flops.
Yes.
And they went to Bar Helios, okay? And then they were telling him, well, you have to change. You can't wear flip-flops. Okay, so he has to go back to his room, change into shoes, come back down. Fine, that's the policy. Fine. Even though it's not stated on the website for a dress code, he still freaking did it. But when they were sitting there at Bar Helios, him and his wife noticed there were people that had flip-flops on. And they asked them about that. And the team member said, well, they don't stay here, so they don't have an option. So you're punishing people that are staying at the hotel, and you're rewarding and allowing and giving more leniency to people that aren't even staying there. What message does that send? You have to be consistent across the board. It doesn't matter if they're not staying there or not. If they're not following the rules, you have to be consistent. Or if you're going to basically give leniency because it's a
It has
soft
to be
open,
for all.
then give it to all. Personally, if I was that team member, honestly, I would have said, Slimer, you know what? The rules are shoes are permitted here at Bar Helios, but it's a soft open. We understand there's some confusion. It's not on our website yet. Go ahead, bro. It's all good. But next time, you're going to have to wear shoes. That's how you handle customer service.
Yeah.
But instead, they gave Slimer the rule for shoes because he was staying there, and they gave the park guests a whole different set of rules because they didn't have a room. And that's not the way you do it, man. It's just not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Universal, come on. You can do better.
Yeah.
We've seen you do better.
Yes. And honestly, again, now going back to Universal's credit, that was the only thing.
That was it.
That was it. That was the only hiccup that I could see. Everything else, as far as with the park operations, with the character meet and greets, with the character interactions throughout the park, the music, the experiences themselves were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I actually want to dive in a little bit of what I've experienced yesterday.
Okay.
Actually, on my way to Disneyland, I thought, well, to kill some time, I got a survey from Universal. And I thought, well, okay, it says about 15, 20 minutes. I'll take it. So as I was completing the survey for FanFest, it was saying, like, how's your experience? What'd you think of it? What have you? It went from the basic, typical questions to a lot more in-depth questions in very strategic detail, so to speak. For instance, they asked me to rate what was I expecting out of like the experiences. And then when I had Back to the Future at the top of my list, it asked me, it said, did you have enough time at Back to the Future? Was the audio good? Was the visuals good? Did you experience the moments of the movie? Did you have enough time for that? So they went to the nitty gritty detail.
I like that.
And
that's why, not to cut you off,
yeah.
but that's why there's a lot of critiques of like people criticizing Universal, right? We've seen it on social media. Even Slimer when he had his critique about the drinks at Bar Helios.
Mm-hmm.
You saw a lot of critiques in the comments and what have you about, oh, well, Slimer, come on, da 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 da. No, this is the time when things are new. Mm-hmm. FanFest is new. Epic Universe is new. This is the time that you actually speak up, because this is the time that Universal is really hyper-focused on listening to the fans. You don't want to just shut up because, you want to stick it to the mouse house. No. You want to say, hey, Universal, we love your event. We love your bar. We love your hotel. But you know what? This could be better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Speak up. It's okay. Universal will not hate you. Comcast will not. You will not hurt Comcast's feelings. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's so funny because we were having the conversation actually at FanFest with Wizard, and we were saying, do you think they'll do FanFest, again? And we said, probably. I mean, I think the demand, they actually extended the dates out for how the demand was. So I called this guy up yesterday after I was finished with the survey, and I said, it looks like they're going to be doing FanFest again.
And I said, what made you think that, George?
And I said, on the survey, it said, what would you like to see for the next FanFest?
There we go. FanFest 2026, baby. Let's go. Let's do it. And I'm glad. I'm happy.
Oh, I am too.
I'll be here for 100%. I'll be here.
And it wasn't just one time of the question. Like throughout the survey, it was saying, like, choose 5 intellectual properties you would like to see. And again, it wasn't just asking, oh, do you want to see it? Yes. Okay, moving on. What would you like to see?
Right.
And there was a plethora of IP in there that they're considering. Some that we didn't even think of that they would even do. For instance, Jumanji. was on there.
That's wild.
That's
wild. And you ain't lying.
It's all for the apes.
Yeah.
Then there was also Lord of the Rings,
Yes.
which we did mention. They did have Zelda.
Okay, which is I think Zelda would be perfect because we're strong possibility of Zelda showing up at Epic Universe. A lot of Zelda nods in that park. So show Hollywood a little bit of love and give us some Zelda for FanFest next year. I think that's a fair trade.
Another IP which I was kind of surprised about was Universal is now leaning more towards incorporating anime into far its events. Which, by the way, One Piece, I can't believe the cosplaying, the merch that was moving just with One Piece alone.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
But
one cosplay in particular really impressed me.
Oh yes, yes, and it involves orange hair.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Go ahead, George.
So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Check out our FanFest video on Citrico Central.
Yeah, see if you can spot her.
You might, yeah. Where's instead of where's Waldo? Where's orange hair girl?
Yeah, exactly.
But shout out to her. She was phenomenal.
She was awesome.
But
there she is. Oh
yeah. But that would be so funny.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
But the anime property that they added to that list was Spirited Away, which is a Studio Ghibli film at Hayao Miyazaki. Which Abby asked me because she was going to ask, because before they gave us the list, they wanted me to actually write in what I wanted to see, and I wrote in Demon Slayer. I wrote in Naruto. But Abby was going to ask me, can they do the Miyazaki films? Because she thought it was more incorporated with Disney. But apparently, I guess Disney just kind of rents them out, so to speak, I guess. But they added it to the list. So apparently they have Spirited Away in mind. Which, if they do that, I love Spirited Away.
Oh, beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I mean, the anime stuff is huge. I mean, we're right here in the main corridor here at Universal Hollywood, and this is where the One Piece stuff is for FanFest. And that One Piece, I told you, our friend Lucas Kim, Lucas Kim was telling us, come on, we got to do an anime land at Disney Park. And I was always hesitant. I'm like, I don't know, Lucas. I don't know if there's enough of a draw here in the States for that. Mm-hmm. After seeing how many, literally sitting here, I've seen at least 24 straw hats walk by. It's not even the FanFest hasn't even started yet. You know what I'm saying? So One Piece was probably the biggest franchise of that FanFest in terms of popularity. I mean, everybody cosplayed as
the wait time to meet the characters was insane.
Absolutely. One Piece is a mega franchise. And then the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff is also awesome. I love the fact that
was risky.
Very. Yeah, very, because the entire show was in Japanese. Now they did have subtitles, absolutely. But I love that. I love how Universal took that risk. Yeah. Because you have an American audience. Are they going to embrace that? Are they going to embrace a show completely in Japanese? I think they did. It was a full theater, and it was badass.
And I love how they can utilize the theater to basically change it out, whatever they want to do with it. That's smart to have a theater like that, because in the daytime, you have DreamWorks Animation's Kung Fu Panda. At night for FanFest, you have it as the I can never say that word.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Thank you. Yeah. I stumble on that.
I'm probably mispronouncing it too. But.
And then also for Halloween Horror Nights, this past year was Live with Chucky.
Yes. Oh my God, that was the best show, by the way.
Yeah, that was.
I love that. That was so funny. Oh my God.
Live Tonight with Chucky. That was so clever, because Chucky is one of those characters
shit talker.
Yeah, he has that kind of personality that out of all the horror and slasher characters, he could be the one to hold up a late night talk show.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. He was perfect. He was so funny. He was sitting behind. He was little Chucky sitting behind that big desk.
Yes,
such a good thing.
I really hope they bring that back for HHN, because I would definitely do that. I would actually do that multiple times.
Oh yeah,
because after seeing it the first time, you get Chucky asks the audience questions,
Oh,
so it would be cool, like because each time would be different.
that'd be great. Yeah, and that's the thing I love about Universal is that they have kind of permission, right? Permission, quote unquote, to sort of get a little edgier, to take a little more risks. Disney is seen as like the hardcore family brand.
Yes.
You can't do a Chucky at Disney.
No.
I mean, even at DCA, you can't do it.
Yeah.
But Universal can do that, and that's what's fun about Universal. I come here for a different experience.
And
It's
then
a different kind of theme parking, you know.
and the fact that Chucky, like at the end of the show, he gets all pissed off, and he goes and kills the setup crew, and you see splatters of blood going everywhere, and you hear screaming and everything. Like that's just
And you never see that. Like even like with Jurassic World, the attraction. You see when you go into the cove, you see all the freaking blood splatters on the wall and stuff. I'm like, this is so crazy. Only Universal can do this.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's cool. Universal, lean into being Universal.
That's their shtick.
That's their
It works
shtick.
for them.
Exactly. Do it.
When it came time to the final part of the survey, they actually asked if I wanted to take an extended questions to the survey, because they said if you could submit your email, your name, because we would reach out to you.
Did they ask you for a semen sample too?
Semen, blood, urine, yeah, all that good stuff.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah. And I was quickly to oblige.
Yeah.
But
It works.
yeah, but they wanted to stay in contact with me by sending emails to really get my thoughts, opinions, feedback, ideas. I've never seen anything like it where Universal wants to hear us as fans, our ideas of what we would want to see. That's how you really know that they're listening to the fans.
Exactly. And that's why when people tell you, oh, don't criticize Universal, don't listen to them. Criticize. Be constructive, though. But criticize. If you don't like the drink at the Helios, you say you don't like the drink at the Helios. Why? Because Universal listens.
Exactly.
So it doesn't do Universal any good if you're like, you know what, I'm not going to say anything because I want to stick it to the mouse house.
Yes.
No. Criticize them, let them know, and they can
Yes.
fix it. It's an easy fix, right? So let them fix it.
Exactly. If it's that simple, then let them know.
Let them fix it. But you don't help Universal when you put your head in the sand and bury the problems. You have to let them know. And like we're very bullish on Universal. Like we're here again today. Both of us have been heavily praising them for a lot of stuff they've been doing lately. But it's okay to say, hey, you know what, Universal, great job. But you know what, right here, can use a little improvement. You want to do that. You want them to be able to fine tune their experience. And if you shut up and you don't let them know because you want to stick it to Bob Iger, that's not doing Universal any favors.
Exactly. And us as fans should be able to do the same for Disney as well. But the difference is give them give critiques in a positive way, not just for your own personal agenda, just for clickbaiting.
Exactly.
To say, oh, they're doomed, they're falling, it's a disaster. It's like, then do it to help the company,
Right.
Not for your own personal gain.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, the last topic I want to touch upon, speaking of Disney, is actually a Disney topic, which is was a little bit of breaking news that happened about a little over an hour ago. It was some extra details on the Walt animatronic show coming for the 70th, and they gave a little more in-depth information of what's going to be. Walt is going to be giving a 2-minute speech, sort of kind of how like they did with Lincoln, like for his show, but it's also going to surround a new updated version of the One Man's Dream show that they had at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. And I tell you, I swear, Disney, you must be watching our shows, because I can't recall when I said it, but I remember mentioning I wish that they would bring One Man's Dream to Disneyland.
You did.
Because I said it feels like it's more appropriate to bring it home. And sure enough, it's going in the Walt animatronic show.
This guy has special access all day long. The rumors are true. Special access, the Italiano. Brunch with Dana Walden.
Yes.
This proves it 100%. You're a Bob Iger, Dana Walden yes man.
Yes, and proud of it. But I thought it was quite
No, that's
interesting.
awesome.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah, I love
I
that.
love how they said that Walt is going to give like a 2-minute speech.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like maybe to like the fans, the people. I'm very curious to see. I'm trying to think what that would be, because if it's like a 2-minute speech and they said that they're using archive footage of real audio from him, I wonder if it's his statement that he gave, like the dedication of the fans. That was his greatest reward of working in the
I
business.
hope so.
I think that would probably be
I
it.
hope so. This is going to be an amazing moment.
Yeah.
If they can nail this, it'd be a great moment.
A great moment.
A
Yes.
great moment with Mr. Disney. No, but it would be a great moment if they can nail this moment where, like, you can have the animatronic and look like Walt and feel like Walt and have the audio of actual Walt. This is going to be surreal, dude. To have an actual physical Walt up there,
Yeah.
and we have his voice coming out of that mouth. Dude, this is gonna be, as a Disney fan, so incredible, so surreal.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
Because his presence is already in Disneyland.
Oh, you feel
especially when you go by the firehouse, you see the lamp lit in the window
it. You do.
in his apartment. So to actually get a version of Walt, of
Amazing.
something that he achieved,
Yeah.
that he was always into, of creating not only audio animatronic figures, but human figures. And now it came as a 360 that we're honoring him. And I know people were saying it's dishonest to him because that's not what he would have wanted. You know, that's not what the family would have wanted. But the company, the Imagineers, have worked extensively with the family.
They have, and Walt paid homage to his heroes.
Yes,
Lincoln, right? So I understand Walt didn't want to be put on a pedestal like that, but you know what? He's our hero.
Yes,
and he is a huge part of the culture right now. Even 100 years, even 100. This man was born in 1901, and he's still impacting the culture today.
He is.
Today.
Yeah, so I think honestly, if someone were to ask me, what do you think Walt would think? I think he would be very elated and honored that we're doing this for him, like as the fans, as the community, as the company grew to what it is today, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
You know, in the many years to come.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So I'm really looking forward to this Walt animatronic, seeing what they do with it. I think it's gonna be a beautiful moment. I can't wait to check it out. We're gonna be on the ground. George will be on location.
Yes, we will be there all weekend. We're going to be checking out, the opening for the 70th anniversary. We'll be there, for Paint the Night, the New World of Color Happiness, but then we'll also be there on Disneyland's actual 70th birthday when they premiere the Walt Show, which is going to be interesting because I was watching a vlog by our good friend Bricky, Mr. Hey Bricky, and he was covering where they're going to store people, essentially, because it's not that big of an area to have queue space, and we know everyone and their grandmother is going to be there to see that show. So he's speculating that they may be opening up some backstage area on Main Street as a holding place for people who want to get in the queue to see the show, because he's speculating also that obviously as time goes on, you'll be able to just walk into the theater and see it, just like the Lincoln show. But just like with the greatest moments with Mr. Lincoln, when a new show comes to fruition, especially for Walt Disney, that's going to be a packed house.
Oh.
And he said it could hold, I think, about 500 people, the theater at a time.
Yeah, it's wild. It's gonna be nuts. I mean, this is gonna be a goosebump-inducing situation if they do it right.
Yes, and then also too, inside the building itself, hopefully they can show us some more in-depth information on the future of Disneyland, with Disneyland Forward, with Avatar, Coco, because we still don't know where these projects are going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, come on. Let's see some models. Let's see where Avatar is going, Josh Giamaro. Let's see where it's actually going in DCA. Is it replacing Hollywood? Is it going into the Simba lot? Let's see where it's going.
Yes, absolutely.
So it'll be very, very interesting. But yeah, incredible stuff. there's an opportunity here with the 70th for Disney to really blow us away. Hopefully they do.
Yes, I have a feeling it's going to be a great anniversary, and I think if they do succeed with that, I'm very curious to see what's to become of the 75th, because a lot of people are saying that the 75th anniversary is going to be even bigger than the 70th.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, I think it will be. I think the 70th is shaping up to be a pretty decent sized celebration, but 75, boom, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. So
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today for this bar chat here at Universal Studios Hollywood. My boy OG, I'm George, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay.
Oh no, what?
Did I do it again? I did. It's all Universal, baby.
That's perfect.
It's all Universal, baby.